Today we have with us Lynn Kotlicky. She is the owner of Reno Running and Fitness. She's also a physical therapist with renown, and she has quite an impressive athletic background. So Lynn, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
And could you tell us a little bit about your athletic background, some of the races you've done?
Sure. I lost count, but I think I've done somewhere around 27 marathons. I started with Milwaukee Lakefront was my first when I was about 20. And then since then I've run all over the country. I've run Boston, I qualified for Boston, and then I've done the Tahoe Triple, and I also have done the Ironman. I did Ironman Wisconsin.
Okay. Could you explain what the Tahoe Triple is?
The Tahoe Triple is 3 marathons in 3 days all the way around Lake Tahoe. So you end up going, actually it's a little longer, you double up a little bit, but you end up doing 78.6 miles.
And then with the Tahoe Triple, I think I've never done a marathon, but doing one marathon I think would be brutal. How the physical and mental side of doing 3 in 3 days, how did you get through that?
You know, it was tough. I think I made a first-timer's mistake, which I think you learn from everything that you do, good and bad, I think. It was tough because I started out a little too fast on the first day, so I definitely think it's learning to control yourself the first day. So by the third day, I felt like it was tough. The last 5 miles were okay, but the middle 10 of the last marathon were a real challenge for me mentally, and I just kind of had to dig deep and use the people out there as a, kind of motivation out there. As I can do this, I've gotten this far, I can finish this. So that was challenging.
Cool. Do you plan on doing it this year?
I'm not planning on doing it this year,
Okay.
but I'd like to do it again in the future.
Awesome. With your co-owner of Reno Running and Fitness, and basically, could you just explain a little bit about that and what you guys do?
Sure. Reno Running and Fitness is a running training program for all levels of athletes. So we train all the way from beginning runners to experienced athletes, from 10K distance all the way up to marathon distance. And it includes, we do a lecture series within the program. Everybody gets a tech shirt. We try to bring all the information to our runners so that we try to get them the answers before they make the mistake on their own or don't have the information. And then it's a very structured training program, so you can sign up for the marathon and it's 16 weeks, or a half marathon, or a 10K, which is 10 weeks, or 13 weeks for the half marathon. And everybody gets a personalized, very structured training program from me who's written the programs.
Okay. And one thing I've noticed, I've been around your program for the past couple weeks, and you do a really good job with getting beginners involved. I think a lot of times beginners, they want to do a new sport, but they're a little intimidated. What do you guys do to try and ease that transition into this new sport?
Well, I think we tell them what we all learned is it's going to be hard. It's going to be painful sometimes, meaning not like, ouch, every step hurts, but my body's adapting to the new distance. We use a very graduated increase in our mileage. As a physical therapist, it's important not to increase too fast or to do too many hills or too much speed, so we talk a lot about the importance of that. But we take away the guesswork for them. We mark the trail for them. We use an out and back trail so people don't worry about getting lost. They're worried, all those normal fears. I'm going to be too slow. Nobody is too slow. As long as you're out there doing it, it's going to work out great. And I think that's probably the biggest fear that people have, is they're either going to be too slow or they're going to get lost. We try to take those fears away from them by helping them out.
Okay, very cool. And for someone who's stepping up and they've maybe moved on from the half marathon, they're planning on doing a marathon in the future, what advice do you give to someone to stay mentally focused?
I think it's important to take breaks within a year. So a lot of times what happens is people will go straight from the half marathon to the marathon, and then they just constantly keep training during the year. And you need a period of kind of downtime to mentally get yourself prepared for your next training program. But there's also post-event blues, which is you do your event, you've trained, and then now what? So we definitely recommend you have something else on the calendar, but you give yourself a little bit of downtime, a couple weeks, to let your body recover, to mentally prepare yourself and stay focused for the next session to begin.
You talked about recovery. With your background being a physical therapist, what kind of advice can you give to someone who, they're getting injured, or just basic kind of safety training type of advice?
In my practice, the biggest things that I see, and it's the biggest mistakes people make, are too much volume too fast. So usually we recommend about 5%. That's for the average person. Now elite athletes, competitive, that's a whole different ballgame. But for most of us, about 5% increase only. Most people who go above that, you end up seeing some training injuries from that. So it's either volume, which is the 5%, they've increased too fast, or it's simply the fact that they've done too much speed or too much hill work at the same time. So when you put volume, speed, and hill together, too much without kind of an up and down sequence to allow recovery, it's a recipe for disaster for most people.
So it sounds like the big key is recovery, just letting your body recover.
Yep, and
Okay.
to catch it early. If you are sore and you're having some pain, that's a sign that says you need a day or two off. Get on a bicycle, get in the pool, do something different. It's a sign that's saying your body is telling you something, listen to it.
Okay, very cool. And I guess basically, last question, you recently moved to Reno from Chicago. Can you tell us what your favorite thing is about Reno, Tahoe area?
I don't know if I can say a favorite. There's a couple of things that I really love. I love the running community and the trails, and having a whole bunch of different places to run that are absolutely gorgeous. And I also think the people here are really great. Coming from a big city, I think you are running and you don't say hi to anybody, and you look down and you don't really look people in the eye and acknowledge them. But here it's kind of has still a small town feeling, which I really, really enjoy. So it's been
Awesome.
great.
Cool. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. That's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.